What's up, everyone? It's Caddy with MoneyVest. So in this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock, and it just seems like it just doesn't stop bleeding. It just doesn't stop selling off, and it's now trading, of course, in the low 200s. We've got huge earnings coming up next week on Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday is when Tesla is going to be reporting. That's going to be January 24th, and after the bell, and the expected EPS is going to be 74 cents per share. We're going to cover that, and $25.7 billion in revenue expectations with 12 downgrades in the last 90 days and only 6 upgrades in the actual earnings expectations. So we're going to break down a lot of stuff here, lots to unpack in this Tesla video. So again, hope you guys enjoy it, find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. And again, link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining and of course getting access to all the members only private videos. Again, there is a 16% annual discount that's also available with the link down below if you're interested in joining. And there's only 3 more spots left in the investor best value early bird tier. And that gives you access to all the Discord channels, all the private videos, members only videos, all the content. Again, the 16% annual discount is available for this one. And this does expire and end at the end of January. So about 9-10 days left if you want to take advantage of that, and 3 more spots left. So first things first, let's go over the expectations. 74 cents per share. That is unfortunately going to be a decline on a year-over-year basis of about 20-25% here. And revenue expected at just under 26 billion. Slight increase, but very flat, to be honest. In terms of revenue growth, it is going to not be that much of an increase. And again, 6 upgrades, 12 downgrades in the last 3 months. In Tesla Q4 earnings preview, only one thing, one focus only, and that is margins. Margins. As we know, margins have been coming down for Tesla for quite some time over the last 4 to 6 quarters, and margins are likely to slip again. And if this is going to be another quarter where Tesla margins slip even further down for operating margins, that is going to be pretty detrimental. And it's going to actually start threatening profitability for Tesla. Like, that's what I'm really scared about, is that if it starts threatening profitability for Tesla with all these price cuts and the margin compression that we're seeing. That's a big concern, which I'm going to go over later in the video. But Tesla Q4 earnings are on tap after market close on January 24th, closing up a year in which aggressive price cuts helped the automaker top Q4 delivery estimates reach a new record and narrowly beating the 1.8 million volume target, which we covered in our previous videos. January 2nd, I believe, is when Tesla reported the delivery numbers. And Tesla's continued actions to improve vehicle affordability throughout the year have been detrimental to margins, as average selling prices have been falling quicker than production cost, and the resale value for Tesla vehicles has also not been great. And this particular analyst covered Tesla in the past, how lower selling prices in China are leaving a detrimental effect on margins, as well as assessing how low Tesla's margins could go. And we reiterated after Q3 earnings that this continual decline in margins highlights a broader concern for investors, in that Tesla has provided no concrete guidance on how far margins will decline. This right here was actually quite an interesting tweet. I found it really funny from Squawk Square. They mentioned that there's only one Tesla catalyst. It's not Cybertruck. It's not the $25,000 car. It's not robots. It's not even FSD. It's Elon staying quiet on X and staying off of earnings call. Those 2 things by themselves would add a minimum $300 billion value back to Tesla, 1,000%. And that could not be more funny, because as we know, Elon Musk, very erratic in his opinions and his views. And as a Tesla shareholder myself, I've kind of rode the waves, the emotional waves of what he's said, what he's done, what all the different things that go around Elon Musk, and all the different things, like everything that's kind of been around Elon Musk and all his thoughts and views and opinions has obviously caused Tesla stock to be very volatile over the years. It's fluctuated. I mean, it's encouraged a lot of short sellers to take short bets. It's encouraged a lot of people to not really be interested in Tesla as a vehicle, as a company, or as a stock, but it's also created this cult around Tesla. So it's just been all over the place. So yes, I mean, to some degree, I do agree that Elon Musk staying quiet. The less is more, again, from our previous videos. Less is more. The fewer words he says, the better it could be for Tesla stock, given what we have learned from our past. Now, this right here is going to be the actual numbers. And as you'll notice, the total gross margins have been declining from 25% down to now 18%. So that, again, is a 719, almost over 7.2 percentage point drop on a year-over-year basis. And operating margins, I mean, this is what I'm talking about when it starts to kind of threaten profitability, is because you've got 17.2% coming down to 7.6%. That's over a 964 basis points, or almost a 10 percentage point drop on a year-over-year basis in margins. Now, this is where things get interesting. If this number continues to drop, we just don't know where this trough is going to be. Like, is it at 5, 4, 3? Is it at break even? Is it even at a loss? If Tesla starts generating an operating loss, I mean, that is going to really turn things around for Tesla, because it's gone from like losses to profitability, to huge profitability, to somewhat stagnant decline, and then back to losses would actually be pretty bad news for Tesla. So that's the last thing we want to see, is some guidance as to how low the margins are going to drop down to, and when can we expect them to start recovering back higher. Now, there is an overarching sort of discussion around interest rates, because interest rates, of course, have been really high. So the demands, the authentic demand, the organic demand has not really been there. So that's one of the reasons why Tesla's been focused a little bit more on cutting prices so that they can actually encourage demand, right? So their deliveries are still growing, production is still growing. So we did still have deliveries up 27% in the third quarter. Of course, in the fourth quarter, with 480 something vehicles delivered, we did see up deliveries up 30-40%. So that's pretty good, but they're selling them at a lower price, right? So the average selling price, of course, is down from year-over-year basis. So even though they're doing a lot of volume, they're selling them at lower prices. As a result, margins are getting hurt because prices are coming down, costs are not going down at the same level, right? Prices are going down faster than cost, and margins are what's being compressed. And again, this right here were the deliveries in the fourth quarter. So Elon Musk gives Tesla ultimatum, another 12% of shares or no AI robotics. So this again is a tweet that we learned from Elon Musk, that without having 25% voting control of the company, he's not going to be able to create Tesla into this market leader in robotics and AI, because a lot of his decisions could be overruled by other parties, other institutional investors that own a lot of Tesla shares, that own a lot of voting shares, and he only owns like 12-13% right now. So these right here are some of the most asked and popular questions for the earnings call that I wanted to present for all of you, that these are the questions that may get asked in the earnings call that I think we need to be aware of. And again, a lot of them are, of course, going to be important for us, right? Because the answers to these questions really kind of dictate how Tesla does, where Tesla goes moving forward. So some of them are going to be, so given that you moved the start of the next generation compact vehicle production to Austin, has the timeline improved so that we might see the next generation platform vehicles in 2025? Now, a lot of the timeline questions, I'm kind of afraid of being, of like Elon Musk answering those, because with timelines, as we know, Elon Musk has always overpromised and somewhat underdelivered when it comes to timelines. I mean, Cybertruck, a lot of the Tesla Model Plaid, like a lot of these different ones have been delayed for such a long time that they haven't really gone into production or deliveries even, right? So again, robotics and Optimus, like a lot of these things, Elon is a very, very passionate and excited guy. Like, he is very excited about the work that he's doing and the company is doing, and he's very passionate about all of this. So he likes to kind of build that excitement, build that hype, without, of course, having a very clear sort of understanding of the logistical situation or how quickly can they ramp things up. And for those reasons, most of the times, I feel like the timeline often gets sort of misunderstood, because he'll be saying, oh, next year, we're going to have autonomous driving, 90% or 95% autonomous driving. It never happens, because there's a lot of challenges, right? There's a lot of challenges with respect to creating autonomous driving and being fully autonomous. So there's a lot of things, like when it comes to timeline questions, it's very hard to predict what challenges a company may or may not face. So again, that is the most voted question, 1.4 thousand votes. And then the next one's going to be how many Cybertruck orders are in queue, and when do you anticipate you will be able to fulfill all the existing orders? I think the first part of the question is actually really important. So how many Cybertruck orders are actually in queue? What's the demand like for Cybertrucks? And the second part of the question, again, is a little bit of a timeline question. How quickly can Tesla actually create, manufacture, produce, and deliver a lot of these Cybertrucks? And then finally, should retail shareholders be concerned that Elon has stated that he's uncomfortable expanding AI and robotics at Tesla if he doesn't have 25% voting power? And again, that is going to be a very, very important question for Tesla and for Elon Musk as well, because a lot of the Tesla's valuation kind of hinges on the idea that Tesla is not just an EV company, it's also an AI company, it's also a robotics and a tech company. And for the longest time, I've been very clear in my analysis and my thesis that I'm investing in Tesla for the sole purpose of it being an EV company. I'm not investing in Tesla for it being an AI or a tech company, because right now it's not. It's got the potential to be, but right now it's not. And that's what I've mentioned in my previous videos as well. And when will you ramp to mass production of the Semi, and what are the barriers to getting there? Another really good question. This is something that I really liked. When will Optimus be deployed in Tesla's gigafactories to make it more efficient, right? Now, humans, and again, the cost of labor is the biggest expense for any company. So if there's any type of margin expansion that can happen with Tesla, even with lower prices, is through this. This right here is really important, because if Optimus, a robot, is deployed in Tesla's gigafactories, which is already half driven by machines and equipment and autonomy, then that is going to potentially expand margins as they start to cut some of the labor cost, which again is very, very expensive, right? So this right here is another really good question. Eventually, if and when that happens, that can really drive Tesla margins back up. And what are Tesla's biggest priorities for 2024? Another really, really good question being asked for Tesla. And then finally, we got, when will Tesla start construction on the Giga Nevada expansion and Giga Mexico? And when can we expect each of these to produce their first products, such as 4680, Semi, and the next-gen vehicles? What has been the barrier to ramping up 4680 cells into the multi-million cells per week rate? And when do you expect to get there? And finally, can we get Tesla energy volumes reported in the P&D as well? So that is basically all the questions, about 9 questions, which are being heavily voted by investors and shareholders, which I believe are going to be asked during the earnings call. Coming over to the price action, of course, it's been in a little bit of a downtrend. So lower highs and lower lows. And this right here, of course, is going to be that green rectangle, that area of support to watch for Tesla. And of course, resistance all the way up to as much as $240 to as much as $270 per share for Tesla. So a little bit of that lower high and lower low pattern. Again, support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle for Tesla, low 200s. And I'm going to be looking at selling puts down in the 140s and 150s if and when Tesla does see a breakdown below this level. But considering how oversold it is, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a recovery back up. That's another thing to keep in mind, because we are already at a really important support leading up to the earnings. Tesla's been selling off. It's kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news, or sell the rumor, buy the news. Kind of like the opposite in that direction that they move. And we've got a very oversold RSI and MACD. So something to keep in mind, with a resistance and a target back up to 240. And of course, support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle between 200 and 212 for Tesla. So hope you all enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure that you drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. 3 more spots left for January of 2024 if you're interested in joining us for the early bird investor tier. Again, links going to be down below. As always, happy investing, and I'll see you all in the next video.